Instead of viewing faith as a powerful force in our lives, we often look at faith as something almost passive or incidental. So when the Bible talks about having faith, many people skip over those verses because they think they already have that covered. After all, they're good Christians and they go to church every Sunday. But what we don't realize is that this passive attitude toward faith is exactly why so many people struggle with receiving blessings from God. As Christians, we are called upon to have faith in God, and not just any kind of faith but a specific kind of faith known as saving faith. See Mark 10:17. Saving faith is not some intangible belief, rather, it is an assurance of things hoped for and conviction of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. In other words, saving faith involves firm belief in God and His promises based on evidence from the natural world combined with trust that He will keep His word even though we can't see Him doing so at present. What's so important about Hebrews 11:1? There are many verses in the Bible that talk about faith, but Hebrews 11:1 stands out because it is the only verse that talks about the need to have faith and tells us how to do so. Hebrews 11:1 is the only verse that tells us that we need to act on faith in order to have it. Hebrews 11:1 is not about the act but about the attitude behind the act. To have saving faith, you must believe in God and His promises confidently, resolutely and unwaveringly. You must believe that He is who He says He is, that He will do what He promises to do and that He can be trusted despite your lack of present-day evidence for this. You must also believe that God can do what He says He can do regardless of how impossible the situation appears to be. Saving faith is not a blind leap in the dark, but a resolute and confident act of the will based on the knowledge that God is trustworthy, He is who He says He is, and He will keep His promises. Where does our saving faith come from? For many people, the idea of having to work at having faith sounds like something they are bound to fail at. But the truth is that all Christians have faith. The question is, of all the different kinds of faith, which type is it? The Bible tells us that saving faith is a gift given to us by God, Ephesians 2:8, Philippians 1:29. Yes, you read that correctly, faith is a gift from God. It is something He gives to all of His children, even those who don't realize that they need it. If you are a Christian, you don't have to work hard to obtain faith, you just have to let God work in you and through you. You have to submit yourself to God daily by spending time in His Word and by prayerfully asking Him to open your eyes to His truth and to fill you with His Spirit. The more time you spend with God, the more faith He will give you regardless of how much or little you have right now. How can we develop and grow our faith? There are a variety of things that you can do to increase and grow your faith. Start by spending more time in God's Word. The more you know about God, His ways and His promises, the easier it will be to trust Him. Push yourself to develop an attitude of gratitude for the promises of God and the ways He has already worked in your life. Don't just passively accept God's generosity, actively thank Him for His faithfulness. Ask God to give you a heart of faith. Spend time in prayer and ask God to open your eyes to all that He has done and is doing. Ask God to show you how you can have faith in Him and His promises. Ask God to fill you with His Spirit and to help you to walk in faith daily. 3 tips for increasing your faith. Look at God's track record. Think about all that God has done in your life, in the world and in the lives of others. Think about how God has kept His promises to you in the past and ask Him to help you to have faith that He will do so again. Be thankful for God's blessings. Our tendency when we feel we don't have enough faith is to focus on the lack in our lives. Instead, shift your focus to the blessings of God in your life. Tell God how thankful you are for His faithfulness and for the ways He has blessed you. Practice having faith in the little things. When you are trying to exercise a new Christian virtue, the best thing you can do is to practice it in small ways every day. If you want to learn to have more faith, start by practicing it in the little things in your daily life. In conclusion, having faith isn't something that you can do half-heartedly. It isn't something that you can just do occasionally or when you feel like it. Faith is an attitude that we must have every day, in every situation and in relation to every area of our lives. We must have a firm conviction that God is who He says He is, that He will do what He promises to do, and that He can be trusted even though we can't see Him working at present. Hebrews 11 reminds us we must have a resolute and unshakable trust that God will keep His promises, regardless of how impossible our situation may appear to be.